It is match 28 of the Conservation Games. The winter has come and we are having a lovely time, of course, with these games. We've got another couple of brilliant sporting celebrities with us who have both represented Zimbabwe, of course. We'll start with one a bit closer to me, John Rennie. Wonderful to have you on the show. We've had you, of course, leading the Elephants by example. Good to have you.
Thank you, Tino. It's awesome to be here and to be able to share this space with one of my childhood heroes, Peter. And what a player for Zimbabwe he was. Yeah, just fantastic to be able to share the space with such a legend of Zimbabwean football.
Absolutely. The darling of Zimbabwean football over the years is our other guest, Peter Ndhlovu from Johannesburg. Of course, a wonderful playing career for Zimbabwe overseas, for Coventry City and some other clubs as well. Now managing Mamelodi Sundowns, referred to as the Brazilians, Masandawana, whatever you'd like to call them. Peter, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure. Also, it's wonderful to be part of this, conservation games, and get to also to meet my heroes. I could be older by age, but it's good to see John. I've always followed cricket. I don't understand it, but all I was interested is for them to win the game. That's all. So it's good to have legend, and of course yourself, Tino. I've always followed you. I always followed everyone in terms of their achievements and representation for Zimbabwe.
Right, Peter.
So
thanks a lot
to be
for
part
that.
of this.
All the best, guys. Let's have some fun. I've got a bead somewhere in my hands. John, I can see your eyes following me. I'll give you the option, left or right hand.
I'll take your left hand, please, Tino.
I'm getting terrible at this. Everybody keeps getting the right hand. You've got the toss here, John. Are you going to ask Peter first, or will you be asked?
I think I would like to be asked by Peter.
Okay, Peter, you've got a couple of questions there pertaining to your career for John.
What are my brothers' names and what are they famous for?
If I'm correct in saying, Peter, it's Adam and Madinda, and both are famous for playing football or soccer.
For who?
Highlanders. Both of them played for Highlanders and also for Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I thought you were just going to say Zimbabwe. That was the easiest one to say, John. Well done. Good start. 2 points. Peter, for you, of course, being the youngest of the three, it must have been really special for you to be able to not just represent Zimbabwe, but to do it with your two brothers and national colors as well.
Absolutely, because you see, when you have brothers that are already doing the sort of sport, and Madinda started, and then you go up to Adam, and I was under pressure to even better, the stats of our family and achievement. So I think we worked well as brothers in sequence of Madinda starting it, Adam up in the game, and obviously myself finishing, at the top.
All right, good.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Good start, John. 2 points for you. Let's go on to the second question, please, Peter.
Yes. How many international goals have I scored for Zimbabwe?
Peter, that's a toughie. You played 100 times for Zimbabwe. 38 comes to mind.
Somebody's been doing their homework. Very, very well done. I'm not sure if this stat is right, Peter, but are you the highest scorer for Zimbabwean football?
Yes, but still, I don't think I'm happy with that person. I know I'm the highest scorer. I could have gone up to 100 mark,
You would have liked some more.
It's good enough, but obviously a few games that I didn't play through injuries, maybe I could have. But it's slow. It's slower, for a high standard. But what can we do? It's an achievement, and hopefully these young boys can come and see where I finished, and they can go over 38.
All right, absolutely. Right, John, good start. Maximum points from your first two questions. You got yours ready for Peter?
Absolutely. Peter, I'm going to give you a nice, easy one to start. I have one sibling who played a sport for Zimbabwe at a senior level. What is his or her name, and what sporting discipline did he or she represent?
First, the sporting discipline is cricket.
For 1 mark, yes.
Yes, you play together again as brothers. His name is I've got a few names. I did my homework.
I'll give you another 5 seconds, Peter.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
I think it's
2, 1. Right, I won't be able to give you any much time on that, Peter. We'll give you 1 mark.
All right.
Next question
I'm
for us,
happy with
please,
that.
John.
Peter, I'm going to ask you another relatively simple
Another hard
one.
one.
I wasn't very good at Test cricket, I can tell you that for nothing. However, how many test matches did I play for Zimbabwe?
Test matches, I think 4.
That is the correct answer. 4. Right. Let's move on to your first of 2 conservation questions. Remember, in this section, if you don't get it right, I've got an option to throw it to your opponent for a bonus point. Right. Your favorite animal, Peter, we have realized is the elephant. Is that Ndhlovu in Ndebele, by the way?
Yes, it's in Ndhlovu.
All right. It makes sense now. Right. Which 2 southern African countries are home to the largest herd of elephant in the world? 2 southern African countries.
I would say Namibia.
I can't give you a point for Namibia. Don't venture too far from home.
Too far from home. I'll put Zimbabwe also.
Okay, I'll give you a point for Zimbabwe. I'll give you another go for a country. I've got you, John. Thank you.
I would say Mozambique.
Not Mozambique, unfortunately. I'll give you 1 mark for that, Peter. John, would you like to go for a bonus point for the other?
Zimbabwe and Botswana.
Zimbabwe and Botswana, absolutely. So, bonus point for you. We'll move on to your second question, Peter. Your favorite park is Hwange. On the Zim Park's emblem, there is a water buck and there is a saying or a motto. Is the motto in love with nature, or is it peace and wildlife, or is it in harmony with nature? Which of the 3?
The wildlife one, the second one.
The second one. Unfortunately,
Oh.
you are not right. I cannot give you any points there. I will throw it to you, John, for a bonus.
I'm going to have a guess with in harmony with nature.
Absolutely. You will get a bonus point for that. In harmony with nature is the correct answer. Right, John, we'll move on to you for the conservation questions. Matusadona National Park is your favorite. And William Folds is a legendary rhino vet. Tell us a little bit about him.
William Folds is a personal friend of mine. He lives down in Grahamstown and is part of the Amakala Wildlife Sanctuary. He has done unbelievable work with being able to save the rhino. He's worked with Prince Harry and various other people, and he goes and has talks all over the world, raising awareness and funds for saving the rhino. So, yeah, he's just a wonderful man and a personal friend.
Right. Good. Let's move on then to your first question. Matusadona, you said, is your favorite national park. Lots of hippo found around there. And the hippo has a very special way of protecting itself from the sun. What is it?
I'm inclined to think that they rub themselves with mud, but what they do is also they are in water during the day and they come out of the water at night. So that is another natural way.
Okay.
So I would probably pick those two.
Right. They're probably right. And I was going to ask you about putting mud on themselves because I know that one, but it's not the answer that I've got here. So have a bit of a scratch of the head to get the right answer.
Oh, in fact, I do remember they've actually got glands. They've got secretion glands that actually let out natural sunscreen. I remember that.
Yeah, they do. They do. They've got glands that secrete an oily red substance that is sometimes referred to as blood sweat. Okay, so that's 2 marks for you. Well done. Moves you on to 8 points. And we will move on to your second question. The black rhino, of course, we've talked about. What is the gestation period?
I read about this. I think it's 14 to 17 months. Okay. Now I'm in the right area.
You're in the right area. I need an exact answer. I'll give you one more opportunity before I throw it to Peter.
16 months.
I can't give you 16 months, unfortunately. Peter, I will throw that to you for a bonus point.
Well, it will be a guesswork for me also, to be fair. I'll play around where he's been playing. So I'll say I'll go higher and say maybe 18 months.
Okay. If you had gone one lower, you would have got a bonus point. It's actually 15 months. But John, you might have just got your figures confused with the white rhino, which is actually a 15-month gestation period. Okay. So we have...
Not even good enough for a half point because I've got the region right there. Tino, come on, be a sport.
The half point is a point in this case, John, so I can't give that to you, unfortunately. But we've come, of course, to the halfway stage, gentlemen. John, you lead 8 points to 4 as we go into our halftime break. Viewers, stay with us. We'll be back with you in just a moment's time.
Our wildlife needs help. Tourism to Africa is at an all-time low. You can assist by liking and sharing the conservation games. You can contribute financially by hitting the donate button on the Zambezia.com website. Let's get together and back up the frontline conservation team.
Welcome back, everybody. Of course, it's game 28 of the conservation games. John Rennie, captain of the Elephants, leads at this stage by 8 points to 4 over former Zimbabwean warrior Peter Ndhlovu. Actually, Peter, we haven't spoken about that. Nsukuzonke, what does that mean? Or where did it come from?
Yeah, it came from Mandebele's Mawoyo as in Highlanders supporters. In fact, it didn't come when I was in the first team from the juniors. I remember the stadium used to be filled with perhaps 10,000, 15,000 people coming to watch Peter Ndhlovu. And I was asking myself why. They say, you don't know how good you are. And it's a pleasure to watch you play. And we'll call you Nsukuzonke, meaning every day wonders that I never made a mistake. Every day I touched the ball. So right. It was a great pleasure. I think I really appreciate the nickname, and perhaps with their support lived up to the, expectations, but I could have gone higher.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So I think section 1, John, you answered first. So Peter, you will be answering first in this section. You got your questions ready, John?
I do. Right, Peter.
Yes, sir.
During the 6 years between 1991 and 1997, how many appearances and how many goals did you score for Coventry City?
Maybe 36 goals. And the number of appearances for Coventry, I think 197, something like that.
Right. So you're quite far out with the appearances. I'll give you one more chance for the goals to get 1 mark. So 136
I'll think
appearances.
maybe 47 goals.
The goals were 39. Okay,
39.
so won't be able to give you any marks there. Moving on. Of course, Coventry City, before we move on, maybe was the best time you had in European football?
Yes, I think they gave me a first, professional contract, and I stayed there. I was a king. They called me king because of me bringing some sort of another dimension into the system, into the game, and I was very pleased. I was very happy to represent, especially my country at that high level, and let alone, things that I achieved as a person, things I've learned, that way of life and way of behavior and respect for other people, community, and the world at large.
All right. John, one more question for Peter. You got that ready?
I do. The commentators called you Peter Ndhlovu. It is legend that you had 23 loves in Coventry. Please, can you name 7 of them?
Can you please come back with the question?
Okay, I was actually
pulling your leg there, Peter.
I was looking at my script and wondering.
I was just wondering which 22 that I don't know. Okay, but I was gonna dig down. I was gonna dig deep.
Nice one, John. Last question for Peter, please.
Right, Peter, in all seriousness.
Yes.
You continued with a great season in 1995 at Coventry and made a record in a match at Anfield against Liverpool, winning the match for them. What was the record?
The record was breaking a 32-year spell of an away player scoring at Anfield 3 goals. So that was some sort of an achievement, also personal. Being an African boy coming to Anfield, it was, mind you, Liverpool was also is my favorite team since young age. And I remember after the game, my friends that I played with at Coventry Field Pub, we went to Liverpool and he asked me, why you scored 3 against us? I said, hey, that's where my bonus is. But I was very happy with the achievement and of breaking that record.
Okay, that is the correct answer. You broke that record, 3 goals at Liverpool in a very, very long time. Well done. 2 points for you, takes you on to 6. Peter, you've got a couple more questions before we move on to the wacky wild card for John.
Yes. John, just a Zimbabwe record in Harare in 1997, played a test against New Zealand that was drawn. Albeit Zimbabwe dominated the match, there was a record set in this test match. What was it, and the name, the people involved? Name people involved.
It was 3 sets of brothers playing in the same test match, first ever, and probably will never be broken. They were me and my brother, Gavin, Andy and Grant Flower, and Paul and Brian Strang.
That is absolutely right. Now, did this happen often in Zimbabwean colors? Because, of course, all of you guys played roughly around the same time, some a bit longer, some a bit before. Is that the only match that we had all three pairs of brothers taking part in the same game?
I'm not sure, Tino, because test matches, I didn't play many. And then when I was playing one-day cricket, Brian Strang sometimes dropped onto the bench. So I don't know if we actually even had a game where all three sets of brothers were playing even in one days. So I think this might have been the only occasion.
Okay, all right. Last question then, Peter. Good, that's 2 points for you. You move on to 10, John.
This man is looking like he knows his story. Eh? I don't know which one is a tough one for him.
The toughest question.
Yeah, I'll come up with the England tour, Zimbabwe in late 1996, and you played in all three of the one days when Zimbabwe beat England 3-0. In the first match, you were integral in bowling, England out for just 152 in Mawoyo. Who were your three victims and how many were they out?
And how were they out? Okay. My three victims. Phew. John Crawley, I think, was one of them. Ronnie Irani was the other. The left-arm seamer, what was his name, man? He had blonde hair. Come, Tino, help me, man.
So if I help you with this, then I won't be able to give you full marks.
Alan Mullally was the third one.
Alan Mullally was the third one. How were they out?
And John Crawley was caught extra cover by Alistair Campbell.
Yes, very good.
Ronnie Irani was caught and bowled by me, and so was Alan Mullally, caught and bowled.
If I could give you 4 points for an answer, this would have been it. Really well done. 2 more points for you. That was the first time I ever got to watch Zimbabwe play cricket on TV. I was still very, very young. How important was that, John, series against England? Even coming from the test matches where we tied one in Bulawayo and then winning the one day as 3-0, how important was that for Zimbabwe cricket going forward?
I think it was absolutely critical. We were coming off a whole bunch of our players were all in good form. And it was critical because it really put Zimbabwe onto the map. We had had some successes against some lesser teams. Well, it's impossible to call a test-playing nation a lesser team, but it was critical. And all of a sudden, the world started to look at Zimbabwe and then started wanting to tour the country and actually brought in more tours, and we got invited on more tours. So it was critical for the development of the game.
Absolutely. Right. John, I've got 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pick one, and can you act out the animation for us, please?
Tino, firstly, this is the bit that I'm really nervous about. My heart rate has gone through the roof looking at my watch. It's around about 160. Tino, I'll take the third one.
You'll take the third card. It's the Rhino Run and Charge.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Here
You waiting for me, Tino?
No, we're waiting for John.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. All right, John, I like that. That's good energy. I like the sound. I like the flora and the fauna, and I like the props. So I will give you 4 marks for that. Takes you on to 16, John. Very, very well done. Peter, I've got 4
Thank you.
cards remaining. You're going to pick one of these and you're going to have to act out the animal for us, please.
I'll take the third one also.
You'll take the third one also. The third one is the giraffe rocking Gallop.
Oh my God.
Can you create a bit of space?
Is that good enough?
That's good enough. Yeah, I can see you. You can move as far back as you like.
Yes, the giraffe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the animation, Peter. I like the gallop across the plains.
Yes.
I'm not so sure the sound was quite that of a giraffe, but I will give you for that 3 marks, Peter.
Well, that's just better than nothing.
On to 9. John, of course, well in the lead with 16. Gentlemen, thank you very much for taking your time and being part of the conservation games. It goes to the elephants. And just before I go, a quick reminder, the website is www.zambezia.com. When you've got a moment, go onto the website, look at all the wonderful work that people are doing in the Zambezia region with regards to conservation. Of course, we are looking to raise funds where we can and support those that are in the front line of conservation in the region. So when you have an opportunity, please just take a moment, go on there and see all the wonderful work that is being done. Well, that was match 28. We will see you again when it's match 29. But until then, goodbye.